And it is indeed your boy Tim, the handsome liberal. The inflation numbers have come out. They have presented a fairly unfavorable picture for the Biden economy. Despite President Biden, to a lesser degree, Kamala Harris continuing to suggest that Bidenomics is a good thing for the American economy, the numbers coming out as of late does not seem to back that up. DJ Julio, yeah! Thank you for the hat and mustache to start the program out right. The economy does not seem to agree with what the Biden administration is touting. We just running some numbers by real quick. 30-year fixed rate mortgage averaging 6.88%. Just this time last year, 6.27%. So that's a decent jump in only a year, and it's continued doing that. So we're going to be talking about the Biden's economy because a poll recently suggested 55% of all Americans, not just Democrats, not just Republicans. I think the number for Republicans is about 91%, if I'm correct. But 55% of all Americans believe that Biden's policies have worsened the economy. And this is, as I stated, despite President Biden suggesting the economy is doing very well under his watch. Now, you can compare America's economy to other nations, if you will, but if you compare America's economy to Biden's predecessor, Donald J. Trump, Americans have a different opinion of that. So we're going to be talking about straight out Biden's economy, asking that question: does re-electing President Biden concern you at all from an economic standpoint? If Biden is given another 4 years, do you feel confident in the U.S. economy? That's going to be the first topic. As always, we have two topics to discuss. Yesterday during the show, there was no shortage of folks talking about everything from January 6th to the election of 2020 to the benefits of re-electing President Trump. Many folks believe that, we just mentioned Biden's economy, many folks believe that Trump would get Biden's economy back on track and direct this country in a more favorable direction. However, as you see, the live stream is titled Biden's Economy, Trump's Circle, Trump's Inner Circle. What I want to ask, in addition to, are you concerned about re-electing President Biden in regards to the economy? On the other side, you have President Trump, and there's no denying his entire inner circle from his 2020 administration, 2016 to 2020, when he was president. None of them are endorsing him. Why is that? Why are none of the former members of the Trump administration endorsing the president? So we're going to talk about it from two sides. And obviously, just like with being concerned about President Biden, does that concern you at all that no one who served in the White House with Trump seems to think he is worthy of going back to the White House? Why is that? So those are our two discussion topics. You know, as always, the program shall forever remain MAGA friendly. We don't block, ban, or censor anyone. So understand, when you're in the box, in the comment section, on YouTube, wherever you may be, if you disagree with anybody on the program, including yours truly, no one gives a damn. This is about free speech here. We don't block, ban, or censor opinions. That's how the program has always been ran. That is how it always will be ran. We go left of Bernie Sanders to him having dinner with QAnon. So looking in the comments, Footloose says they see through the bullshit. In other words, the serving members of the White House under the Trump administration can see through the bullshit. That's why they don't support him for a second term. Why is that, though? His economic numbers, folks favor. Folks believe that he can stop some of these war skirmishes breaking out. None of his cabinet members, Bolton, Barr, McCarthy, none of his cabinet members support him for a second term. Is that concerning? So looking in the comment section, Trump nor Biden care about the people. Wow, that's a grim picture, Carlos. So you're saying neither one of these candidates care about the American people. Wow. I remember getting a few checks from the Fed signed by Donald J. Trump during COVID, right after which inflation went wild. Well, let me make something clear to you, Daniel C. on YouTube. Doesn't matter who the hell's signature was on that check you received. It wasn't Trump's money. Trump didn't send you shit. That got approved to the government, and that came out of the government tax coffer. That money didn't come from Trump. Oddly enough, and I don't know your personal opinion on the subject, but there is a lot of Americans who believe Trump actually went into his own personal bank account and sent out stimulus checks. He's not even paying his own legal fees. You think he's going to give you some money because of the flu that was imposed on us by China? Remember that? So a lot of folks believe that. Let me go back to the box. We'll start the program right off with Big Nick in South Florida. Good afternoon, Big Nick. Is there anything about either one of these candidates that concern you in terms of re-electing them, Big Nick?
Absolutely, there is. For one, I'm a U.S. service member, retired. I served proudly in the United States Navy. I took an oath to the Constitution, and that oath didn't go away once my end of service did. So the one thing that, forget the policies, right? I don't agree with any of the policies that Trump have, right? So I can get past the policies, but the one thing I cannot get past is on January the 6th, our then acting commander-in-chief, Donald J. Trump, is an enemy flag being flown, raised inside of our nation's capital. And to this day, that man has never condemned that act. And as a veteran who took an oath to the Constitution, I cannot get past that.
Wow.
Also,
hang on, let me tackle the first part. Now, by the way, thank you for your service, absolute. So when you say an enemy flag, are you referencing the Confederate flag in the Capitol Rotunda?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Continue. All right, continue. Yeah, you're right. It never happened before, but continue.
Also, there's a picture that anyone can pull up where our commander-in-chief was photographed saluting a North Korean general. That is unforgivable. You are the commander-in-chief. You do not do that.
You know, it's an interesting point you make about him saluting that general. He didn't take much flack at all from the right. I know Obama would have got hammered if he had been caught on television saluting a general of an enemy force. I kind of wonder about that.
Absolutely. I mean, Obama got flack for fist bumping his wife. So can you imagine if he was saluted?
That is true.
If he would have saluted a friendly, if he would have saluted an allied general, it would have been visceral all over this country. Not let alone enemy. Well, I won't say an enemy, but a non-friendly general of a dictator state. You know, that's unforgivable.
But you mentioned you had an issue with Trump's policies. I want to ask you this because this is coming from YouTube. We're simultaneously being broadcast on YouTube. Nick Dooley says people just hate Trump for no reason. Trump truly does care about all Americans. Is it just a matter of, what do they call it, Trump derangement syndrome, where people just dislike this man for no reason at all?
No, absolutely. I don't believe they don't like him for any reason at all. I believe, now, I have to qualify this, right? You may be a Republican who support Trump, but that doesn't make you MAGA, right? So I'm going to qualify this by specifically talking about MAGA. I believe that 95% of MAGA support Trump because Trump allows them to not feel guilty about the hate they have for people who look like them.
You said 95%?
Of MAGA support Trump because he allows them to not feel guilty about the hate that he allows them to feel.
Yeah. So when you give a number like that of MAGA, 95% of MAGA, is it safe to assume you believe that most MAGA are racist or hateful?
I believe most MAGA have racist connotations. Yes.
Wow. So why are there so many African Americans and minorities that identify as MAGA?
Well, let me explain to you why. It has been shown that the majority of MAGA is either at or just above the poverty line, right? So the percentage of MAGA who can point to policies can only point to the tax cut that they receive. Those are the people that's making a certain amount of money behind and above. If you take that away, what other policies benefit the lives of MAGA? What other legislation? And I don't really talk about policy too much because to me, policy changes with every president, but the legislation is what remains. So I like to focus on the legislation.
Well, I think some of their policies, and I don't know, I guess you could almost say it falls along what you were mentioning before, because they don't want the LGBT community to permeate our lives, or CRT to permeate our lives, or they don't want Christianity to be downgraded in our lives. So I guess that kind of ties into what you were saying. So, and a lot of folks do feel that way.
Well, I'm a heterosexual male. I am a progressive. I support human rights for all, right? So the LGBTQIA community, I don't participate, right? If I have a problem, that's my right. I don't choose to participate with any of that. And that is the right that I have, not to participate. So if you have a problem with them, don't participate with them. If you have a problem with abortion, don't get an abortion. If you have a problem with Christianity, don't go to church, right? Allow people to do what they want to do as long as it's not bringing any harm to you or your loved ones. And because my neighbor may choose to be transgender, that in no way, shape, form, or fashion affects me at all.
I tend to have the same belief, but they believe, promoting this to children in schools and things like that could put the child at risk for going down a path they otherwise would not have. But what I want to ask you is this, and by the way, folks, tap the screen starting out in full session. Get your guy on up to 10,000. Let your thumbs not be lazy. Certainly on YouTube as well. Smash that like button. Gary in the comments says to ask you how much you like Joe Biden's oil policies from day one in regards to how much it costs to fill up your car. Do you have any issues with Biden's economic policies?
Well, I'm glad he asked that. In 2017, Donald Trump made a deal with OPEC, with the Saudis, right, which allowed them to open up more drilling, to implement more barrels, which allowed our gas prices to go down, right? That wasn't a permanent solution. After a certain amount of time, the gas prices went back to normal. Right now, we are currently just slightly above pre-pandemic limits, right? I'm sorry, gas prices, right? So, but anyway, to make a long story short, Joe Biden has no power over private companies. Joe Biden cannot go tell ExxonMobil, hey, you need to make gas prices $2. That is not what a president does. There's so many factors goes into the reason why gas prices are higher, such as futures, such as production, such as one of the largest oil providers in the world currently being in a conflict, right? So there's many things that make your prices goes up. You know who's not complaining? ExxonMobil is not complaining because they're currently producing record high profits. So,
I will say this. I tend to agree with you that the commander-in-chief does not necessarily control the price of fuel. However, it would make more sense because here's what actually has happened under the Biden administration. When gas prices shot up, the Democrats, and including the Biden administration themselves, were, as you talking about all these other entities and suggesting that, the president doesn't control gas prices. But for a short time, gas prices dropped quite a bit. I think towards the end of last summer, gas prices dropped. Guess what Biden and Kamala Harris were doing? They were on television taking credit for gas prices coming down. So when you
Absolutely.
so you can't say when gas go up, the president doesn't have control over it, but when it goes down, he's out there taking credit for it. That hurt him.
Right, and me as a liberal, I've never done that, right? However, I do point out the fact that you blame Joe Biden for high gas prices. Do you now give him credit for low gas prices? I think that is a fair argument to have, right?
Yeah.
But me myself, because I am educated, I'm sorry, I have a 3-year-old. He's playing outside. But me myself, because I'm educated on the infrastructure of how that works, that I give no credit or blame to the president because of that. But that is a fair argument to have. If you're going to blame him one way, you have to give him credit.
Right, and the same to him. If you're going to take credit for the good, because this is an argument I used to often have when Trump was in office, that he would take credit for good things, and then when something went wrong, he would blame somebody else. And I didn't take it from Trump, and I don't believe it should be taken from President Biden either. But last question before I move it on: do you feel confident that Biden is the right guy for our economy going forward?
I do, and I can tell you why, right? And I'm going to wrap it up like this. Since the end of Ronald Reagan's term, there have been 6 presidents, right? 3 of them have been Republican, 3 of them have been Democrats. During that same period of time, there have been 50 million U.S. jobs created. The Republicans are responsible for 1.6 million new jobs created. 48 million jobs have been created under Democratic presidents in that same time frame. Currently, Joe Biden has over 15 million jobs created. That's the most jobs created in the history of our country under one presidency. The stock market is at record highs for weeks and on top of weeks, right?
What about inflation? What about inflation?
I will get to the inflation. So when the American Rescue Plan was passed, when that was passed, there was a provision inside of that has price gouging. The Republicans purposely removed that provision from out of that package, which would control ExxonMobil or Walmart or whoever the corporation is from price gouging. That would have helped the inflation. But also, inflation is a necessary evil also. There's no country that has zero inflation.
True.
Right?
True.
No country. So what the Fed is doing now is raising interest in order to remove some of that COVID money out of the system, to remove it out so things, inflation and everything else can go back down to normal. So there is a method to the madness. But I do believe that out of the strongest 7 countries in the world, America has the lowest inflation rate right now.
And that's what we've been touting. All right, you do sound like you have a young toddler or a kid in the background that's eager to. There's nothing wrong with it. Nothing wrong with it. It's our first time talking.
Yeah, this is. I've been trying to come on you forever, man, but you're very popular. I too am a YouTuber. I have a lot of subscribers. If you want to check me out on YouTube, and I would love to speak with you.
Go ahead and plug the name. Go ahead and plug the name. Where are you? What's your name on there?
Big Nick, South Florida Accountability. I have 214,000 subscribers. I'm a civil rights advocate. I teach people how to deal with the government that we see on a daily basis, which is police, because we all are in this together when it comes to the tyranny of the police. So I just teach people how to deal with them, how to walk away alive, and how to take back ownership over our public servants, basically.
All right, I will certainly look you up as well. Thank you very much for coming through. Doors are always open to you.
And may I say, handsome liberal, the title fits perfectly.
Thank you.
Brother, you be safe. So
Good talk.
Drop me down. I don't want to leave. Can you drop me down?
Yeah, I got you. All right, so moving the program on. Thanks, Big Nick, says J6. Real quick in the comment section. By the way, thank you folks for already tapping the screen. Yeah, appreciate that. J.P. Parker. Thank you for the hat and mustache. Real quick, looking in the comments, and I see someone said I followed him. That was Lola Beloved. Her name was Lola. Biden, when I get in office, I will block any new drilling and fracking, says Stefan on YouTube, suggesting that Biden becoming president and stopping of fracking and drilling, because you hear Trump always saying drill, baby, drill. Listen, let's be clear. Biden is a fan of alternative energy, electric cars, solar, and all of that. So you probably are going to get a much more friendlier administration to big oil under President Trump than Biden. I don't know if that automatically will translate into lower gas prices or not, but yeah, Trump is going to be far more friendlier to big oil than President Biden is. Oddly enough, I wanted to kind of do a live stream on this the other day, but Elon Musk, everybody knows who Elon Musk is, and he certainly is not a liberal by any standard. The inventor of the Tesla, all types of shit Elon Musk has been involved in. He actually stated that any investor should definitely be getting involved in lithium mining, what's used to make the electric batteries for cars, the batteries that are in all of our devices right now, in your laptop, in your smartwatch, lithium batteries in your earbuds, you name it, they're everywhere. Elon Musk said that getting involved in the lithium mining business is literally like printing money. His words were, you can't lose. It's like printing money. So, and the only reason why I'm bringing this up is because the drill baby drill audience, whether you're in the United States or elsewhere, in my humble opinion, needs to get with the program. Electric technology is the future. It is the future. Now, you may be able to bring down gas prices temporarily, and I applaud anybody that's trying to do that, but that is the future. So if we continue focusing on, fossil fuel, big oil, you may bring down the price at the pump, which is essentially winning the financial battle. But if other countries continue developing their electric programs, alternative energy programs, you could lose the war by being behind everybody technologically. For a little bit of gratification at the pump now, you could find yourself far behind, because all of this will be developed. In America, the biggest complaint is, I don't want an electric car because either it's too expensive or we don't have the infrastructure. There are parts of this country where currently it makes no sense to buy an electric car because there's nowhere to charge it other than, putting in an adapter at your home. There's not enough charging stations. But this is what the future is, folks. This is the future. Whether you want to get on the future train or the Trump train, this is going to happen. This is absolutely going to happen. So I just want to run that by you. Drill Baby Drill is trying to win the battle. The war is going to be with alternative energy. Reliance on fossil fuels is on its way out. It is on its way out. Looking in the comments, the cost of consumer goods is highly affected by gas prices because of transport. Semis can't be electric. I agree with that. I absolutely agree with that. But if you left the semis, if you left the powerful equipment that and by the way, thank you, Leslie. Wow, that was beautiful. Thank you. I'll go right back to the box. But in regards to the notion that semis cannot be electric, or maybe, big construction machinery cannot be electric, fine. That is fine. But the primary users of fossil fuel is not semis. It's smaller vehicles. Everybody has their own damn cars. If you left the semis as fossil fuel vehicles and converted all of the personal vehicles, which we absolutely can convert to electric, the technology for semis would eventually come. They will eventually create batteries or vehicles that have the extended range we need, that have the power we need. It's coming. That is the future. Sticking with fossil fuels and ignoring that is only going to let other countries get the jump on America. You're going to be importing as opposed to exporting. We will be behind in that market if we keep riding the fossil fuel train. That's my humble opinion. Going back to the box, we'll continue moving it on with Stick the Ruler. Good afternoon. Welcome to the program. Stick, by the way, folks, tap the screen. Smash that like button on YouTube, Uncensored Program. We don't block, ban, or censor anyone. Stick Anything concern you about the Biden administration running again when folks are suggesting the economy sucks?
No, I have no reason to even feel that way or even look at it that way. When you look at it again, common sense is not so common, but when you look at it in a common sense way, he was put in the same situation that Barack Obama was put in. They came out of that out of 8 years looking real decent, and he's turned it around again. I mean, the man was just giving you facts on top of facts when it comes to his economy, when it comes to him doing actual policy for the people, even though he said he wasn't a policy person. So, but it's just, if it's not being said by Trump, then of course the MAGA ain't trying to hear it. So at the end of the day, what he says about Biden is, everything's bad. Everything's messed up. But who knew that Trump would be the reason why it would be so messed up? Maybe he did, but everybody on the outside, we thought that, we could keep going, but somehow, some way, Trump fumbled the ball.
Well, but the nation don't see that. I'm just simply looking at some of the analysts. Even the Democrats do not have this favorable view of the Biden economy like many folks suggest. In fact, many believe that if Biden's opposition was not Trump, he probably wouldn't get reelected. A lot of folks don't believe he's doing such a great job.
I'm gonna be honest with you. I'm gonna tell you what Trump told Mike Pence. You're too honest. A lot of Democrats are out here not saying they're being too honest, but they're being too hypocritical. They're being overboard with it, because at the end of the day, again, numbers don't lie. If you look at the numbers and you stop trying to say stuff about how you feel just because you want Trump in office, not particularly you, but MAGA and anybody else that's a Trump supporter, then you would know that everything is on the up and up, except for Truth Social. You would know that.
So you don't believe that gas prices are exorbitant or the price of groceries? You don't see any issue with that at all currently?
The whole thing of it is I would have an issue if Biden could do something about it. If he could really actually do something about it, if he could go over and say, hey, I'm going to send these tomahawks at you if you don't lower my gas prices, then that'd be different. But we don't do it like that, and we know that that's not the way it is handled. What ends up happening is you got those guys at the top that get a little greedy, and they got greedy before when Bush was in office. I mean, I remember then, just like people saying, oh, my gas was $5 a gallon. Well, it wasn't $5 everywhere, but it got up. And especially in California, it was $5 a gallon.
Well, California's always high. That's their own taxes. But let me just say this in regards to what you're saying, that the suggestion that Biden cannot do anything about, let's say, price gouging or the cost of fuel. One of the benefits of Trump, one of the things that makes Trump look much better than Biden, is that he will try to do something or say he's doing something even when he's not necessarily doing it, even if he actually is making threats that he can't even complete, such as threatening companies for price gouging. The fact is he's speaking on it, whereas Biden is suggesting there's nothing wrong at all. People blame it on the economy or they blame it on price gouging. People know they're paying more for goods and services, though.
Well, how about this? With Biden, they're going to say he lied, just like they said with Barack Obama, he lied. And with Trump, it's going to be, well, he tried. And they both doing the same thing in the sense of trying to put what they trying to get the supporters for their constituents and anybody else that's on the left side or even the right side when it's Trump. They're trying, but at the end of the day, we know, well, I ain't going to say we know, but majority of us that are into politics and or the government, we know that who controls the purse? The president can only say so much. And I just believe that Trump has got it in everybody's head because he says it so much that he was actually trying to do it. So, and then when it happens, for instance, like abortions, the abortion thing happens when he puts in those chief justices, right?
Let me interrupt. Because in regards to your abortion comment, I just want to interrupt and ask you this because somebody said this to me on the phone that rolling back Roe v. Wade had nothing to do with banning abortion. Does that make any sense?
It makes no sense at all. It makes no sense at all. Because, in a sense, when you had Roe v. versus Wade on the books, you basically almost had it in the Constitution. And then that way, everybody across the land had a, what you could say, a limit to what they could do in the sense of abortions. Now that it's thrown back to the states, which basically means it's no longer your federal right for women, they throw it back to the states, which means they took your federal right and gave it to the state versus it still being her choice as a woman.
Yeah,
so at the end of the day, again, that made no sense.
Well, it was used to defend Trump to some degree because the argument was, listen, Trump has been in office for several years. All of these abortion bans are happening under President Biden. They didn't happen under Trump. So why are people blaming Trump for the abortion bans? Someone actually said that Roe v. Wade had nothing to do with banning abortions. I thought it was crazy as well.
Well, the thing of it is again, just like the border crisis, right? You'll tell me all the time, well, Biden had so many years and he did nothing, right? So I feel like on the abortion issue, Trump had so many years, and instead of actually doing a presidential executive order, which I don't think he could have did anyway, but he appointed the justices that would do the work for him. Because he's a moron. He doesn't know how to put that work together anyway. So he had the justices do it for him, and he rode the wave of he got it accomplished for his party. Now that it looks like the women are in an uproar and they're not going to vote red, now he wants to backpedal.
Yeah.
So again, it's the double down on the double standard on everything. Whether it's the January 6th hostages, whether it's wear a mask, don't wear a mask, take the jab, don't take the jab.
So you're basically
I'm gonna win, and if I lose, it's rigged. I mean, on and on and on.
You're basically calling Trump like John Kerry in 2004 a flip-flopper. You sound like you're saying he's flip-flopping. I do got to move it on no stick. Brooke, you get the last word. Go ahead.
Yeah, it's a lot of flip-flopping, but the whole thing of it is, I just think that MAGA, I don't know if they're easily confused or low IQ. And I'm not trying to insult any MAGA, but I just want you to know, like, without being woke, pay attention. I guess that's the best way I can
Without being woke, pay attention. That's a hell of a quote. Without being woke, pay attention. I like it. I might use that in the future. Wow. Without being woke, pay attention. I like that.
They don't like woke. Yeah, they don't like woke. So, yeah, without being woke, pay attention.
All right. I got to move it on, but that sounds like some civil rights shit. All right. Appreciate you coming in. Without being woke. Hey, thank you. That's probably going to be the quote of the week. Without being woke, pay attention. All right, look it in the comments. I won't forget that one anytime soon. Real quick, we losing 500 independent truckers a day to bankruptcy. Wait till there's not enough truckers, says New Truckers of America. 500 truckers are being lost per day to bankruptcy. I haven't heard those numbers. That's pretty heavy. And that's all because of Biden? I don't know. There's got to be more at play than that. I'd have to, it's worth looking up. I'm not going to dispute it because it's the first time I'm hearing about this, but 500 truckers are being lost a day to the Biden administration because of the Biden administration. I've never heard that. And I see in the comments, One Breath says, yeah, but 600 are joining. Hey, now, J6 says it's probably a Fox News report. I'd like to see it. Capitalism is what Cass is saying. Capitalism probably does have a significant amount to do with it. That's not true. Rod is the greatest, says that's dispatcher's fault. All right, going back to the box, and I used to be an over-the-road driver, and there is a lot of folks ripping. If you're an independent trucker, you know, when it comes to the brokers and those loads, how much you get and things like that, there's a lot of greed involved in that. There's a lot of greed involved in it. There's a lot of folks taking loads that are being underpaid because they work for greedy people. So 500 folks getting out because of bankruptcy. Yeah, some of that may be because they're working for the wrong outfits that ain't paying them shit. I'd have to really look into that. Looking in the comments, or maybe at the box, appreciate you folks that are tapping the screen. Give me on up to around 40,000. It helps out the algorithm. You know the program is always uncensored, always shall be. Free speech shall always reign supreme. We don't block, ban, or censor anyone for their commentary. I had RDL in the box. I don't know what happened, but bringing them back up to the program. Good afternoon, RDL. Thank you for the compliment. They're new truckers, by the way. So what do you think? Does the Biden economy frighten you at all, RDL?
Oh yeah, oh yeah. You're not. I don't know, man. He they're bragging about his economy and his economic policies and stuff, but it doesn't. You know, nobody's believing it.
Well, I just had two guests on that seem to think it's doing all right.
Well, you know, even a blind squirrel can find a nut every once in a while. You know what I mean? I don't know, man. I got a feeling that Trump's going to win if he doesn't if he don't go to jail, or if there's not a freaking civil war or something.
Why would there? Let me ask you that. Let me ask you that question, because I hear that all the time. Why would there be a civil war? What would be the goal of it? What would be the purpose of it?
Well, you know, after J6, I think anything can happen now. I just believe. I seen a thing. I seen this. I don't know what the hell it was. It popped up on TikTok and it said, "We're not. We can." I forgot what it said. But anyway, it was referring to a war. You know,
but is it you got an echo? You got a Bluetooth on or something?
Oh, do it? Yeah, I do.
Okay, because I'm hearing myself.
Oh, sorry. I don't even know how to fix that.
You know what? Turn off because I'm talking to myself almost. Okay, we'll give him a minute because I want to ask him about this. In the comments, because MAGA is not looking at the bigger picture. MAGA is being selfish, says Dina Clark. Selfish in what way? How is MAGA being selfish? Feel free to elaborate. Democrats are the ones trying to fight for worker rights. Stop corporate greed. I do see some validity in that, and I'll tell you why. In regards to trying to fight off corporate greed, if you believe in smaller government, less regulation, that is going to lead more to that, because you're actually leaving it up to the free market, and the free market can be very immoral, for lack of a better term. So why do you think there would be a civil? You still echoing, RDL?
Am I really?
Yeah.
I turned my Wi-Fi off.
Okay. Well,
okay, I can drop out. I can drop out, man. I don't want to interrupt your show.
But no, but real quick. When you say this civil war you're hearing, are you hearing this from liberals, or is this mostly Trump supporters? Who is threatening war?
Yeah, it's mostly MAGA.
Why?
Yeah, because they're lunatics, man. Trump's already saying if he don't win, it's going to be rigged. He's already saying that again.
Aren't you?
Like he did in 20.
I thought you were MAGA. You're not MAGA?
No.
Oh.
But I'm not. I don't go either way, really. I'm kind of like you. You know what I mean? I do kind of lean left, but I would say I'm a moderate left. You know, not far left or anything like that. But
well, when you say that you see MAGA as being lunatics or trying to start a civil war, do you feel any concern if Trump is reelected?
No, not really. I think Trump's a blowhard. I don't think he's going to try to do all the shit that he's saying he's going to do, you know. Like I told you once before, I believe that I just hope if he does win, let's just let him in there and be done with it. You know, get 4 years and he'd be gone. Okay. And hopefully never have to hear the word Trump again. You know.
How do you feel about folks that suggest that January 6th was Trump trying to stay in office? Do you see that as invalid, or you see that there was a
I absolutely believe that. There was a coup. He was trying to commit a coup inside, you know, without not a military coup, obviously, but he had John Eastman, that lawyer, trying to, and Sidney Powell and all them people trying to tell him that he could do, you know, that Pence could do that, and it was planned out. They had a plan.
So let me ask you this. So because what you're saying is concerning me, and thank you, Susie Q, for the duck there. Appreciate that, for that little chick. Thank you, Susie. What I want to ask you is, you're saying that you don't think Trump is, you know, his bark is any worse than his bite, so to speak. You don't think he's going to do all the stuff he's talking about, but then you admit January 6th was a planned coup. Why do your opinions differ?
No, because if he wins, he's got what he wants. You know what I mean? I think what's going to be bad is if he doesn't win. If Biden wins again, then I think the shit's going to hit the fan, because Trump's going to say it was rigged again, and he, you know, and all this kind of stuff. And I think that's when MAGA is really going to, you know, they're going to hit the streets, I think.
But you think if
these people are,
so you think, but if you think if Trump wins, he'll be a peaceful leader and won't do anything.
Well, I don't know about a peaceful leader. I think it'll still be chaos, but I don't think that he's going to. I mean, I do believe like he'll try to get out of NATO. You know, I think he'll do things that's going to screw this country up. I really do, because of his ego. But I don't think that he's going to like try to. Well, maybe he will. I don't know. He's such a big narcissist. But hopefully that once he's in and he's won all, and he does, you know, if this jail shit all calms down, you know, and who knows?
Well, when you say if this jail shit calms down, let me ask you, in your humble opinion, do you think all of this is a witch hunt or a political attempt to stop him from running for office, or do you think he committed some crimes?
I think some of it is. I think some of it is a witch hunt. I really do. And I'm not a Trumper, but I believe that. You know, that E. Jean Carroll thing, with how they passed that law all of a sudden, that you know, that because that happened like 30 years ago, man. There was no. I believe that, and I believe the fraud case in New York. I mean, for $450 million, come on, man. All them rich people do exactly what he did every day.
What about the documents? What about the documents? It's Susie Q. Susie Q. Wow. Thank you so much. What about the documents case? You think that that's all witch hunt as well?
No, I don't. And that I do believe he broke some laws there by withholding those you know, those top secret papers and stuff, and trying to hide them. And
so, with you admitting that January 6th, in your opinion, was an attempted coup, do you believe that alone should disqualify him from ever becoming president?
Yeah, I do. Obviously, I do. And I think a lot of the congressmen and senators and stuff that, you know, on the GOP right now, they all should be kicked out too.
Wow.
A lot of them were involved in that, you know.
Okay. You got a unique. When you said you're in the middle, I gotta agree. You got a very unique opinion on this, but I do gotta move it on. A pleasure talking to you again, RDL. Come on back through anytime.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Absolutely.
Yes, sir. Have a great day, man.
You too. You too. So looking in the comments, then why should we let him back in? That's what I was kind of getting at. Is that if you believe because he was like, just let him in, he'll serve 4 years. He's not going to do most of the things he's threatening. But then when you ask him what he did, it's some pretty heinous shit in his opinion. You know, a lot of my beloved MAGA don't agree with that. That's fine. You have that right to disagree. But I just was trying to pick the caller's mindset to see where he was. So what we're asking today, before I go back to the box, Biden's inflation, Biden's economy, do that concern you at all when we suggest that he may get another 4 years in office? Does his economy concern you at all? Or do you think that he's up to the task, like a couple of my earlier callers, where the economy is doing well in their opinion, and they're totally fine with Biden getting a second term? Where do you stand with that? And as the second question of the day we're talking about is Trump's inner circle, from 2016 to 2020 when he served in the White House, the fact is none of his administration, not a single member of Trump's administration, is endorsing him for a second term. So in regards to the concern about Biden's economy, does that concern you at all that every member of Trump's inner circle, the ones with the closest access, being in the closest proximity to the man, none of them believes he deserves a second term? Does that concern you that the people who were around this guy do not favor him to get the job again? So one answer is because it is something to ponder. Why won't any of your own former administrators endorse you? Why is that? So moving the program on, we'll go straight to some semantics. I think that says semantics dome. Good afternoon. Welcome to the program. Then why should we let him back in? Some folks would ask that. Other folks have a different opinion. Semantics. Good afternoon.
Hey, how you doing, buddy?
I'm doing good. So none of Trump's inner circle favoring him to get reelected. What say you?
I mean, yeah, that's basically, it comes down to look, it's like when you're in school, right? And you say, oh, all my teachers hate me. I mean, there's a point where it's you, right? It's not all your teachers.
Oh, yeah. If you say something like that, yeah.
I mean, he claims that he hires the best people. He knows the best people. Let's suppose that's true, right? Let's suppose he hires all the best people. When they get in there and they see how the sausage is made, and then they come out and go, whoa, I don't want to touch that. That's really wrong. He calls them all traitors. He says, they've all flipped. There's nobody, it seems like, in his circle that they leave the organization, or they leave his cabinet or whatever it is, and he doesn't talk crap about them, that they were terrible to begin with. So that tells me two things. Number one is, maybe you're fooling yourself that you're picking good people. Maybe you're picking rotten people. Let's just suppose that he's picked 50 rotten people that are all under indictment, all whatever. Mm-hmm. Or you are the problem. Like, they're seeing that you are doing misdeeds. You're doing wrong stuff. Like, even the worst of presidents, if we want to call George W. Bush a terrible president, I'm not saying he is, but at the time, I think a lot of us said that. When we look back, we'll look and go, yeah, not everybody that was in his circle was terrible, not even close. Like, maybe Dick Cheney, maybe like a couple of folks, right? But in general, I've never seen so many people, air quotes, turn on someone and they're the problem. Like, it just doesn't make any sense.
But and that's a good point, that you've never seen so many people turn on one individual and the people themselves are the problem. Why do you think MAGA feels that way? Most folks who support Trump do feel like it is the problem of the folks that are turning against Trump. They're not favorable of Attorney General Barr or Mike Pence. They're not favorable of Ambassador Bolton or Omarosa or Scaramucci. They're favorable of Trump, but who turned against him, they are indeed viewed as rhinos, treasonous, and traitors. Why is that?
I think it's because they've deified Trump. They've deified him to a point where, in their eyes, he can do no wrong. Look, I'm definitely not a Mike Pence supporter. I'm definitely not, like, by any stretch of the imagination. But I look at Mike Pence and go, this is a guy that, although I completely disagree with almost everything he thinks philosophically and politically, I don't see him as a criminal. I don't see him as somebody who would willingly violate his oath for personal or political gain. Not go that far. You can say what you want about Mitch McConnell. He's right. The Constitution doesn't say. It says the Senate confirms justices, but it doesn't say when, right? So, I wouldn't go as far as to put them in the circle of they will completely violate their oath and violate the law. They'll obviously want to push their political agenda. That's politics. But I look at folks, like I said, at this point, Mike Pence would definitely be a better choice than Donald Trump, because at least he won't go as far as Donald Trump will go, where he will pull all the stops to benefit himself, and Constitution be damned.
Okay. So it's obvious how you feel about Trump. So we'll discuss Biden. How do you feel about his economy right now? Do you think things are going well?
I think things are going well. And this is not from any love. I'll say this. I don't think Biden should be running. Honestly, I would rather, I wasn't thrilled with Hillary Clinton running, but as I look at it, go back to Biden's economy, I think it's going well. Look, I've been an investor in the stock market, in real estate, and a lot of stuff for like over a decade, right? So I've gone through a couple of presidents, like at least 3 presidents where I had a portfolio greater than $250,000. I can tell you that during the Trump administration, my portfolio struggled, but I came out in the end a little better. It was pretty stagnant for a little while.
Did it struggle before or after the pandemic?
It definitely struggled during the pandemic, right?
Okay.
It struggled. Here's the thing: having started investing like in 2012, right? Having been through the ups and downs of the Obama administration, like when we had the oil crash, we had a lot of stuff going on, right? When I came out in 2018, the market was pretty stagnant. It wasn't all his fault, Trump. I don't think it was all his fault. It was meh. One thing that I saw in 2020, I had never seen in my life, and that was the stock market being halted several times in a day, to the point where, I don't know if you remember this, like March 15th or something like that. It was like the stock market plummeted so much that the fail safes that we had implemented after the 2008 financial crisis, they kicked in. If it drops more than, I'm making up the numbers, but if it drops more than like 7%, yes, S&P are down in a certain time period, they halt it for 15 minutes. If it drops more than X percent, all these fail safes, we triggered all of them, and we literally halted the stock market.
But you don't blame any of that on Trump, do you?
I blame it on the handling. I think it was going to happen, but I blame it on the handling. I blame it on we said, oh, it's not a big deal, but it really is a big deal.
All right, well, let me ask you this, because in regards to your opinion on the politicians, have you seen any personal division within your own inner circle? Here's an example. Rebecca Green on YouTube says, I'm a 62-year-old Republican. My mom is an 89-year-old idiot Democrat. I have completely disowned her. Can't fix stupid. Have you seen any division like that in your own inner circle because of Trump and Biden?
Yeah, I've had some friends that, that were, I think they wanted to disconnect because they didn't want to get the criticism for supporting Trump. I'm like, look, whatever, do what you do. You have to understand that the people around you are going to be impacted. You can see this in politics, right? You can see how, I think it was Dick Cheney or Karl Rove. I think it was Dick Cheney that had a daughter that came out gay.
Yeah, that's Cheney. Yeah.
And that was a big flip, right? Before that, they were like, nope, you can't be that. We don't agree. And then once it impacts their family, they see, oh, maybe I was kind of wrong or absolutely wrong, right?
That's a good point, because Nancy Reagan was also in favor of stem cell research when that started affecting the Reagan family. You make a good point.
Exactly.
Yeah, you make a good point.
Exactly.
I do got to move it on, but go ahead.
Let me tell you the last thing I want to say. If you go back to the debates from 1988 with Dukakis and George Bush, and go back to watch the debate where they talk about abortion, and I've never seen 2 politicians basically say almost the same answer, and it was so heartfelt. I thought I'll leave you with, go back, because I think George was it George Bush? George H.W. Bush brings up that they almost, they lost a daughter to leukemia when she was like 7.
Okay.
And he gives a very heartwarming story about when they were given that diagnosis that she wasn't going to live more than a year at birth. And she lived 7 years. And so the point is that, look, they had differing opinions. They were so cordial. If you get an opportunity, go and watch that debate, just that section where he's debating with Dukakis.
That may be.
You see what I wish it was today.
Yeah, well, we're far more divided than we used to be in that era. But semantics, appreciate you coming on.
I appreciate you having me. You have a good day.
You too, as well. So that's what we're asking, though. And I saw a few comments, particularly on YouTube. Anytime we have discussions, particularly if a negative comment is made in regards to President Trump, it's generally Trump derangement syndrome, or why the hell do we have to talk about Trump all the time? Why can't we talk about somebody else? Hey, look, I understand, as Trump stated himself, some people don't like to hear bad things about me. I get it. But when folks ask, well, why are we always talking about Trump? Well, shit, we got an election 7 months from now. What else do you think we're going to talk about? Now, seeing in the comments, I think it was Kevin O'Leary on YouTube asking that question. Well, why can't we talk about the terrorists yelling death to America? In my humble opinion, that type of shit is what I refer to as talking points, so to speak. You can find any group of people that have a favorable or unfavorable view of America or any other issue you're concerned with. Does that mean all Palestinians that live in this country hate America? No, it does not. We know why they're targeting and finding those people and putting them on television every day. We know why that's happening. There are plenty of Palestinians who would tell you they're crazy. They won't be on TV, though. They're going to find the ones that are speaking negative. So that's why we're not talking about it. Because it's done to deliberately skew and create hatred. No different than during the race protest riots of 2020. There was a group of Black Lives Matter protesters in, I believe it was in Minnesota, after the George Floyd issue, murder, yelling, pigs in a blanket, fry them like bacon, suggesting that they wanted to off police officers. Small group of people, 20, 30 in number. Fox News is running that over and over again to suggest that all Black Lives Matter want to off cops. This is very similar to the Palestinian movement. Pick up the ones that are really bad and put them all over TV and plaster them to really demonize the movement. That's all that is. That is all that is. That's the same thing was happening with Black Lives Matter. Or the individuals that organize Black Lives Matter, the ones promoting fascism or misappropriating the money, put them on TV and suggest that everyone walking down the street yelling Black Lives Matter agrees with that. That's how you fearmonger. That's how it's done, folks. That is how it's done. So looking in the comment section, but ban interracial and get marriage. I don't quite get that. And before I go back to the box, is there anybody out there that believes that may happen? Now, we know Arizona now is using a law from 1864. That is actual fact now. Is there anybody out there that believes that interracial marriage could get banned? Anybody believe that could actually happen? I mean, because now that they have an actual law on the books from 1800, I gotta agree with Lisa Lee in the comments. Anything is possible now. If they went back to one law from the 1800s, do you really feel confident they won't go back to another one? I gotta suggest, and by the way, the reason why I'm saying that is because Arizona had a 15-week abortion ban law on the books. They chose not to use that one. That one's, I think, back from the early 2000s or something like that. They chose to skip that one and go back to the one from 1864. They could have used that one. They could have had a 15-week abortion ban in Arizona, which is still a fairly strict ban. But they chose to use a ban that doesn't provide, coverage for rape, incest, only if the life of the mother is in danger. They chose to pick the older law. So if a state can choose to pick a law from the 1800s in the case of Arizona, like Lisa Lee says, why can't they do it elsewhere? So I do have to look at that and say, at this point, how can you be 100% certain it won't happen to other laws? How can you be 100% certain? Now, looking in the comments, are you okay with college students demanding Black-only graduation ceremonies? No, I'm not a fan of that. But once again, I point to that being demonizing. How many college students around the country are doing that? I saw what you're talking about. You had some African Americans talking about proms like that, having segregated prom ceremonies. The Fox News outlet is where you find all that stuff. It's very, very tiny groups of people that are doing this, and they promote it and run it all over the place in loops to make it sound like it's coming from everywhere. I know exactly what you're talking about. I've seen it. Haven't seen any more of it since then, which tells you a lot. It's not like that is the norm, but it's ran enough that you're asking me on the live. Looking in the comments, he cares about interracial marriage. Who is he that cares? I think every American should care about interracial marriage. Do you want a regular, law-abiding, tax-paying, honest American to lose their husband or wife because some politician or some law decides they shouldn't be together? Every American should care about that. If interracial marriage is banned, you know how many marriages are going to break up? There's a lot of interracial marriages in existence in this country. People have been married 5, 10, 50 years. Every American should care about that. So you don't have to be in a marriage to care. It's other fellow Americans. No different than how you felt on 9/11, even though you may have not lived in New York. That's happening to one of your fellow Americans. Families being broken up, because that's what would happen. You're breaking up the family to some degree. Every American should care about that. Anthony Hawkins, good afternoon. Welcome to the program. 1800 laws from the 1800s. You don't think that could happen, do you, Anthony?
No.
Why did it happen in Arizona?
I think they're just tripping, trying to make some news. Look how many people in the government are in interracial relationships. I mean, all sorts of people are in relationships. Nothing like that will ever happen. That's just insane.
Here's
stupid to even talk about.
But how many people in government probably had an abortion?
Probably a bunch. Probably.
Yeah. And it happened anyway.
I mean, yeah, I don't know, man. That it's a valid point, but I just don't see that happening because I don't think that should even matter.
Let me ask you to you this way. This 1864 law, or even some of the strict abortion bans in Texas and down in Florida, if you and I had talked 3-4 years ago, and a Democrat was yelling, with Trump in office, appointing these Republican Supreme Court justices, you're going to start seeing states having permanent abortion bans and pulling out laws from the 1800s. Would you have believed that could happen?
I mean, I would hate to think that we still use laws from 150 years ago.
That ain't the question though. Would you have believed that could happen if a Democrat said that 3 years ago? Would you have believed him or thought he was fear mongering?
So you're asking me if a Democrat wanted it?
No, if a Democrat 3 or 4 years ago was telling you that what is happening now was going to happen while Roe versus Wade had not been overturned yet, when Trump was in office and he was still appointing justices and Roe versus Wade had not been overturned yet, and the Democrats were yelling out with Trump in office, they're going to overturn abortion, they're going to make it tough on women, they're going to start bringing up laws from the 1800s. Would you have believed that was going to happen?
I mean, I'm not sure. I don't believe Democrats. I don't believe Republicans. I don't believe a lot of shit anymore. I mean, I believe a lot of shit is fear mongering. I believe most of our news, most of our articles, most of it's fear mongering, just like the whole eclipse bullshit. There was so much fear mongering over that. I mean, abortion. Yeah, I mean, it's all crazy. Like, I'm a live and let live. Like, whatever you do is whatever you do. Just if I don't condone, I don't have to care. Like, I don't have to be involved in it. Like, I mean, it just makes no sense that people have to put their fucking nose in everybody else's business. It's disgusting sometimes.
So how do you feel now that they are doing this all over the country, particularly southern states, these strict abortion bans? Do you think it's a good idea?
I mean, no. We talked a few days ago about my view on abortion. I don't agree with abortion, but I don't have to care what you do to your body. I don't have, I don't feel that it's right for that child, but I don't have to care. You're the one living with those consequences, not me.
But what I'm asking you is, do you feel the Republican politicians that are passing these laws, do you think that what they're doing is right or wrong?
I feel that all government is wrong.
That's not you're hang on. I'm trying to ask you. You're broadening out things almost. Okay, I'm asking you what in regards to the abortion ban specifically being done by Republicans. Do you think that itself is right or wrong?
I think it's wrong. I think it's wrong because I don't feel that only two sides of people can tell you what you can do with your life, whether it be Republican or Democrat. I don't agree with a right side or a left side being able to tell you that you can or can't. That makes no sense. You should make your own fucking decisions for yourself, not let your government make your decisions.
So you believe these decisions coming from the Republicans are them taking government powers too far?
I mean, I don't want to label it just as Republicans, but I understand your question. Yeah, I can say that yes to that.
Okay. Come this election in November, who are you likely to vote for?
I don't think I will be. I don't consent to any government. So we talked before. I was a felon, wasn't able to vote. Now I can. I got all my rights restored and everything.
So you're not likely to vote for Trump at all?
No.
Okay.
I mean, I like Trump. I like that he's got the balls. I have money in my pocket during Trump, but I still don't feel there because I still don't consent to government, period. Whether I like Trump or like Biden, I just don't consent to any of their bullshit. It's all bullshit. I believe they're all corrupt. They've all became multimillionaires over our tax money. I think it's good.
So let me ask you a question. I guess this would be kind of in line with civics, because you're suggesting you may not vote for either of these people. You're talking about potentially not voting at all. Is that correct?
Correct.
Okay.
Correct.
Landon C64 in the comments, he's suggesting that, well, if you're not voting, why does your opinion even matter? If you're not going to contribute to the election, your opinion is irrelevant. How do you feel?
Taxes. I still pay taxes. I'm still a law-abiding citizen that does right every day. I don't have to agree to the government. I don't have to pick one of two sides. That's not even right for even people to sit there and be like, oh, we only have two people to choose from. Both of them are jokes. Both of them are possibly corrupt. Both of them have been in some shit. And you're going to tell me I'm wrong for not voting for one of two pieces of shit? That's just the most fucked up thing that a person could ever tell me, that I'm wrong for not wanting to vote for two pieces of shit.
All right, well,
how is that even right?
So there were 9 other Republicans running early, late last year from the, Vivegs to Nikki Haley, Chris Christie, the governor of South Dakota. Did you see any decent other candidates running?
I seen clips of a few people. Now I liked RFK in the beginning, but he kind of fell off.
Okay.
I mean, I believe there's so much conspiracy within the government. I mean, he might be telling the truth, he might be not, but I mean, he's still fighting, I guess. But I like him a little more, I guess. But I know he doesn't.
You like RFK a little bit more than Trump and Biden because you believe Trump and Biden are pieces of shit. Did I get that right?
I mean, I believe with Kennedy, I think he's got a vendetta. He's trying to get back at what happened to his family. I mean,
whoa! Wait a minute.
I'm not saying.
Wait a minute. You believe Kennedy is running to try to as a vendetta to what happened to his family? Who is he going to take that vendetta out on?
I don't believe that's 100% his goal, but. I mean, honestly, if the government killed my family, that would be my goal, get back in there.
Anthony, anybody in government that killed Kennedy is probably dead. Who are you going to take your vendetta out on? Their kids?
Yeah, but I mean, the CIA, period. Look, I know people probably report me for conspiracy theories, misinformation. Shit.
Oh my God!
Off of your channel.
You know I'm not gonna ban you. You know how we work, but
I know. Yeah.
You want a president that he's going to be a president that because his uncle was assassinated back in the early 60s is going to come in office some 70 years later and take it out on the organization? I mean, if that's the case, you wouldn't put a black man in office at all because every organization screwed us over. I don't know if that makes sense.
I see what you're saying.
Yeah, that would be dangerous.
I want an everyday citizen as a president, somebody who has to live our life. Somebody has a 9 to 5, somebody that has had to pull themselves up by their bootstraps, not somebody that's been, fed with a silver spoon that because their last name or because their bloodline is part of the history of this country. No, make an everyday citizen, an everyday person. Wipe out the whole government, all these millionaires and billionaires that are robbing us. Put everyday people in there to change our cities, our states, our country. Like nobody lives this country like us.
I gotta tell you,
live like us.
Well,
they control us.
Well, hang on. You're describing Barack Obama. He wasn't born with a silver spoon in his mouth. I mean, Barack Obama, when he became president, I don't think him and Michelle Obama was even worth $250,000. They were not millionaires and billionaires by any stretch of the imagination. How did you think of president? How did you like of Obama?
I was younger then, so I wasn't it didn't care. I mean, I've learned more politics in the last 2 years than anything. So
okay. So do you look back at the Obama administration and view it favorably? That's your guy. That's your guy. You want a guy that's a regular person. Obama qualifies as a regular person, regular job, regular education, lived in the inner city, everything you want to talk about. He didn't have any money as a kid. That's your dude.
I mean, so, I'm woken up to some conspiracy, so I don't want to say about Obama himself, but yeah, I feel the person that came from nothing. I get what you're saying.
Yeah.
But, I don't know.
Okay, I gave you pancakes. You asked for pancakes. I gave you pancakes. Now you're bitching about a waffle.
I don't think I could... knowing what came out about Obama recently, everything that's came out recently about Obama, I don't know if even Michelle, Big Mike, whatever. I don't know, man. I don't know. That was
Who the hell is Big Mike? You're not talking about the rapper from the Ghetto Boys. Who is Big Mike?
You know who Big Mike is. Come on now.
I gotta go.
All right, buddy.
All right, Anthony.
Hey, love it. See ya.
Appreciate it. Big Mike. Oh my God. Obviously, referencing the gender of Michelle Obama. That's where that comes. Big Mike. Oh my God. This guy believes whatever he hears on the internet, says Garbone. Well, I get accused of that as well. Let caller look at Obama's Nobel Peace Prize. War, Afghanistan, 20, and Flint, Michigan water filters. You blaming Obama for Flint, Michigan? Really? You're telling me the president, we would be okay with the president going into a town and demanding they use a specific water filter? You're blaming Obama for that? All right. That's one funny. That wasn't funny. That was disrespectful to a black woman, says Takesha. Yeah, it's disrespectful as hell. I don't disagree with that. And you can tell me about it. Good afternoon, Takesha. Welcome to the program. Do you feel confident that Biden can get it done for 4 more years, Takesha? What say you?
Let me say this. I get tired of arguing with people about the economy. I don't look at what it looks like. I actually do my research, and the numbers don't lie. The economy is doing good. It may not be, I don't know what they think that Biden can go to Walmart to the CEO meeting and say, hey, cut those prices on that bologna and those hot dogs right now. Don't you raise another price in this store. Hey, Target, take those prices down because I'm the president of the United States. Hey, oil companies, Cut those prices. When I go to the gas station and I see them flipping those numbers on the gas pumps, making the gas higher, I don't say, hey, did Biden come in here and tell
But Trump, Takesha, and by the way, tap the screen. Trump did exactly what you're talking about. Tap the screen, folks. Get your boy on up to 60,000. Certainly smash that like button on YouTube. President Trump did exactly that with NATO. He told NATO, either you pay money on your defense budget or we out. You're telling me Biden couldn't threaten corporations?
Let me say this about NATO. The way NATO works is you pay a certain percentage.
Right, your defense budget.
If they don't have as much money as we make, then they probably were paying their percentage. And Trump just made it seem like they weren't. I'm not even finna go with that NATO crap when it comes to Trump. Them people was paying their percentage according to their economy. Tell Trump he ain't did a goddamn thing. You gotta research and learn all this stuff, but this is what I came up here for.
Okay.
You gotta know that it's ridiculous when you come on an app and disrespect your 82-year-old mom and call her out of her name because y'all on different sides of the aisle. When have you ever seen that being done before Donald Trump divisive self got in office? People have been, there have been many Democrats, there have been many Republicans, but you've never seen families torn apart, not speaking and not getting along because of a political party in your life. Let's be honest, Handsome.
But is that Trump's fault or is that Trump derangement syndrome?
It's the divide.
What is he doing?
It's the divide.
What is he doing to make families break up?
If you ain't loyal to Trump, then you're nothing. And it's sad that people going against their parents who brought them into this world, nurtured and raised them because they don't support Donald Trump. That's sad.
Well, they believe that the man has
sad.
Takesha, they believe that man is the right direction for this country.
They believe he's standing there telling God what to do.
Damn.
They done put him in the seat of God and throw God in the back sweeping. That's all it is. They have put this man before their families, and it is really sad. That really broke my heart to hear what that lady said about her mama.
Yeah, and for you guys who weren't tuned in, I comment on YouTube is that what was she, 60-some years old, said her 89.
She was 60-some, her mom was 82.
Yeah.
And you call your mama all kind of names just because she don't vote for Donald Trump. No, that's sad, Handsome.
Well, but a lot of people believe that if you vote Democrat, you're voting to destroy this country. You're voting against patriotism. You're voting against your best interest.
What you thought, that is still your mom.
Yeah.
And she doesn't have to be a Republican because you are. My mama don't have to be loose in the booty because I am.
I didn't expect you to say that.
Because we have different opinions. I'm just saying. Come on now.
Well, I get now my YouTube audience I think has gotten more to the right because Nick is also saying this is exactly why I told my girlfriend she ain't allowed to vote because she agrees because I've showed her multiple times she doesn't know what she's talking about. His own girlfriend.
Girlfriend and bless her heart because the day you told me that you would have been single. Have a great day, Handsome.
All right.
I can't do it today. I just can't.
Appreciate it, Takesha. Always a fan of Takesha. It's about respect. I listen. I don't think that anybody should be telling other people who to vote for. I really don't. Your interests, your self-interests are different than somebody else's. They really are. I mean, somebody else may be concerned with something that is meaningless to you. So I don't believe anybody should tell somebody else who to vote for. But in this country, we've always done that. But the idea that families are now breaking up. I remember even, years before Trump came along, you don't discuss politics, religion, politics, and I think there was a third one, issues you don't discuss. But in my humble opinion, I do believe it has gotten far more inflammatory under the Trump era. It has become far more inflammatory. So is that something that Trump has done? We'll continue talking about it. So look at in the comments. All of this started happening after 2016, Handsome, which is what she was saying as well. They were paying. I don't quite get your comment, Kenneth. Moving the program on, going back to the box. And by the way, thank you folks who are tapping the screen. Almost 600 of you in here. Certainly on YouTube as well. Smash that like button. I remember a time when it was unseemly to ask somebody who they voted for. That's how old I am. I remember someone asking another man who he voted for, and the response was none of your damn business. I don't think you need to ask anymore. Even though I ask on the program because I tend to be a talking head on social media, I can ask you, how do you feel about gun rights, abortion, religion, particularly Christianity in schools, reparations, women's rights? I can ask a few questions and instantly tell what side of the, I mean, it doesn't take much. It doesn't take much. And most folks are passionate, very passionate about one of those issues. And when they're passionate about something, they're not going to hesitate to tell you how they feel about it. So it doesn't take much to figure out who somebody voted for. Maybe in the middle, but the issues I just discussed, there's not a lot of middle ground to the Second Amendment, to the abortion debate. There's no middle ground to that. If somebody is pro-choice, they probably voted Democrat. If they believe that the Second Amendment shall not be infringed upon, you think they are Democrat? Think that's a liberal? No, it's pretty easy to tell. Looking in the comments, or better yet, I just hit something. They're going back to the box. Thank you folks that are tapping the screen. Get me on up to around 70,000. That can happen if you let your thumbs not be lazy. Moving on, we will go straight to... I see it says down. Of course, low income support the one who support them most. The low income support the person that supports them most. That should make sense. The low income should support the person that does not support them. I see it says downs. I can't see the rest of that name.
I see it says down. I can't see the rest of that name.
I talked to you the other day, Hoss.
Are you on Bluetooth?
You on Bluetooth?
Nah, yeah, hang on one moment.
Yeah, because I'm getting my own voice back. All right.
I'm not as fancy as most folks. I don't know. I'm not all sophisticated and whatnot.
Okay.
Just bear with me.
Fair enough. No problem there. Donald Trump woke black Americans up. Wow.
Donald Trump woke black Americans up. Wow.
Okay, are you there? I'll give him a second. Okay, can you hear me? Okay.
Yeah, I hear you quite fine, man. It's good to hear from you again.
Okay.
I talked to you a few days back.
All right, now you're not, are you African American?
Unfortunately, I don't believe I'm in that class of citizens.
Okay.
I'm afraid.
I was just going to ask because I seen a comment. I seen someone commented that.
Indian in me somewhere.
Wait, we got a major delay. Can you hear me? Okay, I'm gonna have to move it on. I don't know what's going on. Yeah, something's going on with my last call. I'm gonna have to move it on. Donald Trump woke black Americans up. I would like to follow that up with someone of African American descent, but we won't do that right now. We're going to Purple Lion 420. How confident you feel that Biden is the man with folks suggesting the economy sucks? Purple Lion, good afternoon.
Good afternoon. How you doing today?
I'm doing good. Living in Biden's economy, though. You think he the man for 4 more years?
No, and I'll tell you why. Your first two callers and Takesha are saying the wrong numbers. You got, let me put it this way, you got book smarts and you got street smarts. They're intelligent people going about the book smarts of like the GDP, the stock market, the inflation numbers. Okay. That's not what does the cake. It's the street numbers of that determines why the current administration is doing, which is the numbers at the pump, the numbers at the gas station, the grocery store, what you pay for healthcare, and people's checkbooks.
So how do you respond?
That's what determines
so
what the president's doing.
So how do you respond to folks who say that the president has no control over price gouging or the price at the pump?
Well, that's again the difference between book smarts and street smarts. Book smarts, yes, he doesn't have much control. But with street smarts, when you see all that going on with your household, your family, you're going to blame the top dog.
So
you're going to point point the finger at the administration.
So is that blame rightfully placed, or is it just the lack of education, as you're pointing out, that the president doesn't control price gouging, but folks are not educated enough to realize it, so they're blaming them? Is that what you're saying?
It's the reality of politics.
Okay. So based on what you're
it's always going to be.
So based on what you're saying, then Biden's economy actually is good, but he is being wrongfully blamed due to lack of education. Am I getting that right?
No, not really, because like for myself, my financial well-being is not nearly as good as it was under Trump or even before that. Even under Obama, it was better. It was always better before all that. But now with the inflation so high, I have a great job, but I don't make the great numbers like I used to.
But you
because
just
the cost of everything going up.
But you just admitted the price is going up because of potential price gouging, and you admitted Biden can't control that.
That's right.
So why is Biden getting the blame?
He does have influence.
How so?
He does have influence.
How so?
Well, you can influence foreign markets and companies. I would say as running for lobbyists.
So
you can influence some extra drilling. You can influence some permits. You can influence a small percentage of the price, but not the full price.
So if you're price gouging, let's say you got a major corporation, Fortune 100 company, and you're price gouging, and I am in office and I have influence with you, but I'm not taking advantage of that, so you're getting away with price gouging. In reality, is it my fault, or is it because of what you're doing? Even though I got influence, that's not policy. That's you price gouging.
That is true.
Okay, so how
with all the chaos going on, people don't care, don't look at it. All they look at is those four things that's affecting them now. And so when they go to that box to vote, that's what's going to influence their vote.
I get all of that.
The president can or cannot affect it.
I get all of that. I told you, what you're basically saying is perception is reality, but you're also admitting that even though folks are perceiving it one way, it really is not Biden's fault. You're pretty much exonerating Biden.
Not exonerating. His spending is way out of control, as previous presidents do. That also does impact inflation.
Tell
the more
me,
the government spends, the more the government goes in debt. That does affect inflation.
How was inflation, in your opinion, under Trump?
Inflation was under control pandemic.
Okay, so
yeah.
So Trump increased the national debt significantly. Why wasn't it happening then? If according to you, if spending hurts inflation, why wasn't it hurting under Trump?
The trickle down effect. It didn't affect it right then and there. It took time to take effect to the GDP. Just because you spend a bunch of money now doesn't mean it's going to affect it now. It's like a credit card. You go buy something on a credit card, it's not going to affect you right now. But when you get that next payment or the next interest on top of it, that's when it affects you down the road.
So what you're admitting essentially is that Biden is suffering due to Trump's economy.
Also the pandemic.
All of that was handled by...
The pandemic was something that was nobody controlled.
Yeah, but you are admitting the woes of the Biden administration are from things that came while Trump was president. Whether it's the pandemic or whatever the case may be, you're suggesting that actions in America between 2016 and 2020 is why Biden's economy is screwed up. Am I hearing you right?
No, because I think Biden added to it because he did not go after the debt. He just keeps making the debt worse. So
purple line. Wait. Are you playing dodgeball? Are you playing dodgeball with me? Are you playing dodgeball with me, purple line?
Isn't that politics?
Yeah. All right. Okay. So, in other words, Trump did not ruin Biden's economy. It's all Biden's fault.
That's the way it's going to be perceived. And let me put it this way. I work for FedEx. I see hundreds of people every day of all different types. And they almost all say the same thing. They all see the perception that the economy right now is not good because of what's affecting them.
Yeah.
And on those four factors.
Yeah.
And it doesn't matter if it's right, doesn't matter if it's wrong. That's the political reality.
And that's
and
well,
so like your first two callers in Takesha, until they come to grips with that, it's always going to be that way.
and
You
that's
can throw whatever numbers you want out there, but the bottom line, those four numbers will matter.
all right. Fair enough, Purple Line. I do got to move it on, but that's well said. But at the end of the day, listening to what you just stated, you're suggesting that the American consumer, the American voter, has I guess, a lack of education in regards to perception as reality, and they are indeed blaming Biden for things that took place under the Trump administration. I mean, I think that's pretty clear as day. You're just saying it.
100% true.
Yeah. All right.
100% true. And that's why social media affects the way things are, because people are not educated and they just see what's on social media as truth, even though a lot of it's fiction.
So at the end of the day, who you voting for in November? Purple Line?
Did I lose you?
I'm here. Can you hear me?
I'm sorry, I must have lost you.
No, I'm here.
Yes, sir, I can.
So at the end of the day, who you voting for in November?
I don't know, to be honest.
Who did you vote for in 2020?
In 2020, I don't remember who was a libertarian at that time.
Okay.
I didn't vote for either one of them.
You didn't vote for Trump or Biden last go round?
No, sir, I didn't.
Did
Trump's nuts and Biden's too old and kind of crazy.
2016, Trump versus Hillary.
Oh, Trump. I voted for Trump.
So why did you give him a second term?
Because, like what you started your show with, his inner circle, none of them want him because he's so crazy and so high demanding. He's almost delusional inside that office.
I thought Biden was the one with dementia. You're saying that you view Trump as delusional?
Trump is delusional. Biden is, he's the one who's losing his memory. Two different things.
All right. Yeah.
Dementia. Biden's got dementia. Trump's got delusion.
All right. So neither one of these guys are getting your vote, most likely.
More likely, no.
All right. All right, Purple Lion. Finally, we're on the same playing field. First, you were moving all around. Appreciate you coming through. Come on back anytime.
Always like your show, boss. You're a great man.
Appreciate it. Thank you. That means a lot. Come back anytime, man. Okay. Anyway, looking in the comments, a true American would have conceded the election. Trump is a joke, says Marco 1026. I'm not a fan of what happened in the 2020 election. I've made that clear on many videos. And I will tell you this. I think that Trump is getting the benefit of judgment that he probably would not get if people were just viewing him from the outside looking in. A lot of folks favor Trump, so they're giving, in my opinion, maybe I'm wrong, but in my opinion, they're viewing him differently because they favor him. Here's what I mean. If you heard, let's say, the leader of Peru or Colombia or any country on earth, and they were telling you what happened in the 2020 election, I don't think you judge it the same as Trump. Meaning that the entire administration said that the president of Peru lost the election, but the president of Peru is saying he won and that his entire government is corrupt. I don't think anybody would buy that. Certainly if you found out the federales in Peru and all of the other lower entities were all saying the same thing, I don't think you'd buy it. I think that we're judging Trump a little bit differently in that case. But if you're on the outside looking in, and all of the authorities in the country, both sides of the aisle, at many different levels of government, were all saying this didn't happen. And that president of Peru was saying, no, they are all wrong. I'm right. I don't think most folks would view it the same. But because we favor Trump, we're giving him, I think, the benefit of the doubt that we would not give anyone else. I personally believe that. Looking in the comments, Hillary Clinton said Trump was an illegitimate president, says Kevin. Yeah, but that's one person. That's one person. When we speak in regards to Trump, his own administration is suggesting that his claims that he won are false. That's big difference than what you suggested of Hillary. It's a big difference. Stacey Abrams did not believe she lost. But Trump took it to a whole nother level. And not to mention he's suggesting the 2024 election won't be held properly either. And it is not most of Trump's inner circle that no longer supports him. In fact, most of his longtime inner circle are still supporting him. Susie Wiles, Chris, we're talking about his administration, Gen X, his administration. The folks that he hired to serve in the White House, those folks are not supporting him. The folks you're mentioning, that's not part of his administration when he was in the White House. He is not president. He's a salesman. Well, politician-wise, you're kind of both when you're a politician. Going back to the box, though, Miss Mobetta. Good afternoon, Miss Mobetta. Not a lot of strong MAGA today. Not a lot of strong MAGA. Miss Mobetta, good afternoon.
Yes. Good afternoon, Tim. How's everything?
It's a pleasure having you back. Biden's economy, what say you?
Absolutely. His economy may not be the best, but it's not the worst either. A lot of people, because Trump does have a big following, so all he has to do is say one thing. Oh, this is the worst president. He's the worst economy. And his people are going to run with that. So you already know once people start speaking one thing over and over and over again, it becomes their truth.
Then
becomes their truth. Like I said.
Why can't Biden go around saying over and over again that I'm the bomb? Maybe it will become the truth of the Democrats.
As a liberal leaning a lot left, I wish he would get out and speak a lot more than he does.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Get out and, like I said, brag a little bit. Listen, this is what we've done. But the thing is, you have to. Trump is hard to deal with because he doesn't care what people say. He just wants the attention. Good, bad, or indifferent. So now we're dealing with a narcissist that you're going to say one thing, he's going to say something else. Like, you know what I mean? So sometimes he makes you a little frustrated because you actually want to do other things to him that you can't actually do. So
in regards to wanting to do things you can't do you believe that Biden should debate Trump?
Absolutely. I want to see them on that main stage. Let each one of them speak what's happening. Let's talk policies. Let's talk your future. Let's talk numbers. Let's talk all of this stuff. I don't want to hear Trump say, "Oh, he's slow. He's sleepy. He's this." I don't want to hear you trying to attack people's character. Let's talk numbers. Let's talk business. Put forth that businessman that people claim you claim to be.
But Ms. Mobetta, yeah, but in regards to your comment, you don't want to hear personal attacks. You want to talk numbers. You can't control it. You know if Trump goes on stage with Biden, it's going to end up with some personal attacks.
We know that, but that's who he is. But before Joe Biden got to this age, he used to say that too. He said he would take Trump in the back of a schoolhouse and kick his ass.
Yeah, he did say that.
You know what I'm saying? He said that too. But now he's older now. We have to see he is an older man, but that doesn't mean he's stupid. He might be a little slow, not cognitive, but physically he might be a little.
But
slow.
when you say he's a little slow, not cognitive, is that what you want for president?
No, but what choices do we have left? I'd rather have that than have Trump.
What's wrong with Trump? He's cognitive. He's not so slow.
Trump has no filter, which could be very detrimental to his position and ours.
Are you voting based on your feelings?
No, I'm not. No, absolutely not. Because he did nothing really that woed me either. You know what I'm saying? Because again, like I said, my numbers are the same that was under Trump, as they say, the same under Biden also.
Okay.
So there's a lot of gripe that
we should be having is with our local governments and with the name companies and stuff, and people don't talk about that as much. They don't talk about it enough.
Yeah, but folks believe that when Trump was president, we didn't have all these wars breaking out. We certainly had more of a control on our southern border. You don't see where Trump may be able to do some good if he's put back in office?
No, I don't think he would even be able to handle this. You know why? Because he was too busy making friends with what's his name?
Kim Jong-un.
And him and Putin. He was too busy trying to rub elbows with the enemy, with our ops. You know what I'm saying? Something that they criticized Obama for. Let's be honest about this too. But he thought that was okay. So what he does is this is why he's backpedaling on this abortion issue. So he takes somebody else's idea, he'll shoot it down when it comes for them, he take it and try to make it his own. So what happens is when people go into the polls, they're not trusting him. That's why he lost. He lost trust in his own people at those polls. Other than that, there wouldn't have been an issue where he's calling states trying to find him votes and stuff like that. You lost. People like the popularity because you know what? It's entertainment. He's entertaining these people right now.
Yeah, but he's doing things that they favor as well, such as you mentioned Kim Jong-un. Is it not maybe a good idea to reach out to some of our adversaries and try to make peace as opposed to always being in a Cold War with them?
But was he really trying to make peace, or was he trying to make friends with them?
What's the difference?
Because when he was making friends, it was just for his own benefit, not the benefit of the country. He didn't see what kind of detriment that would really cause. He's trying to get, all right, let me see how they're running their country. So when I win, I'll have that same tactic. I want them to respect me like they respect him.
But if Trump makes...
And that's in my opinion.
Okay, let's go with your opinion. If Trump makes a personal friend with Vladimir Putin or with Kim Jong-un, doesn't that also help us all? Because now they're not going to really mess with the country because they're friends with the leader.
No. Just because he makes friends with them doesn't mean they'll make friends with him. They just need to get him in a position that they need so they can get what they want.
Oh. So in other words, he's trying to make friends with enemies. They're not going to be his friend no matter what.
Exactly. They don't want to be friends with him. But they thinking Biden is the weaker of the two. No, actually Trump, no, you are. They know what your weakness is. They know what he likes. He likes power and money. And that's period. You can check his records.
Right. Go ahead.
Yeah, so they feel let's get him in the position that we need him so we can get what we need.
So if Trump gets another 4 years, what's your biggest concern? I mean, because he actually could be president again. There's a really good chance that could happen.
It's a possibility. It absolutely is a possibility. And I see it's going to be a lot more division happening. Because it's already happened. It's already starting. You're talking about, you're backpedaling on abortion, big issues of our country. You know, I personally don't believe he understood how NATO really worked when he was in there and stuff like that. So he kind of got into this playing field where he didn't have all the rules. He didn't have all the rules. He just know that people were kind of frustrated with, they didn't like Obama. I'm going to just put that out there. They didn't like Obama. I don't care if he had good, bad, or whatever policies.
Why wouldn't they like Obama? If he had good policies. Oh, but you think it was racial?
Oh, absolutely. I'm into calling spade a spade. I'm a realist at the top of the day.
But Obama would not have won without a significant portion of the white vote. He won a lot of white states.
Oh, he did. He did. You know why? Because his character stayed in check at all times. He didn't flip-flop on anything that he said or did. So there was a lot of things, even when it comes to us black people, a lot of people didn't like him. Oh, he didn't do anything for black people and this and that. First of all, we had an all-white panel as far as Congress and all of that stuff go. How much do you think they were going to allow him to do to separate a black majority over anything? It wasn't going to happen. They they were crucifying him for wearing a tan suit, smoking a cigarette. Or you understand what I'm saying? So let's be real about this. We have to, and if they really want to get deep into things, you have to go back to how things really started. And that's even on the building of this country.
But people are going to suggest, how can you be claiming racism when the highest office in the land is occupied by a black man?
Because the people spoke. This is where the people have to realize how much power we actually have. You do have, your vote does matter. The people came out in droves. That when it came to voting for Obama blew it out. Everybody's seen those numbers. He blew it out the water.
So
he blew it out the water. So I personally even think Hillary beat Trump. Hillary beat Trump. Already had Putin in his pocket. So when it came to Russian collusion, that's a big deal. Because they know that there was something fixed. Trump, if you go back and watch the debate, the last debate with Hillary and Trump was walking around the stage, and guess what he was saying? It's fixed. It's fixed, because he knew he lost.
So you believe that in 2016, it was Trump himself that was the illegitimately elected president?
Absolutely.
Wow.
And he knows it. He knows it. That's why he keep going in there saying that he lost against he won against Biden. You understand? Because he know it was fixed for him. Come on. That doesn't take rocket science.
All right. That's a strong opinion. All right, Mr. Better. You swing. You always swing hard. Appreciate you coming in.
I do, but I enjoy your show. You know what I'm saying? You give it 100% of what you know, and everybody else try to do that. You know what I'm saying?
Well, let me ask you one more before I get you out of here. I got a lot of folks in the comments when I asked you what do you fear or what are you concerned most about Trump getting reelected. A lot of folks suggested that if Trump won, there would be a mass exodus. Somebody said they would actually lead a country. Do you see any validity to that? People leaving this nation just because the president.
Leave to go where when other people are fighting to get here? Yeah. I'm just saying that where are you going to go? My land is here. This is my land here. Where am I going? No, you just got to get out there and fight. Read up on things. Know what policies and stuff are being taken care of, and don't be selective. You can't be selective about things. You have to be on the side of right, and I mean right as in correct, not right as in a Republican or a Democrat.
Let me ask it to you this way. In Arizona, they just came up with this anti-abortion law that goes back to the 1800s. Is there any laws from the 1800s that may make you want to lead this country?
No, it would make me want. Oh shit! I can't say what I want to say. But
all right, I get it.
No, it's not gonna make me leave to go nowhere. What I'm gonna do is stand my ground. Stand my ground and allow my voice to be heard, because we the people are the bosses. Believe it or not.
I like this. Stand your ground. Shout out to Ron DeSantis. I got to move it on, though, Mr. Mobetta. Good talk.
Okay.
All right.
Indeed.
Hey.
Peace.
All right. Kind of reminds me, I'm talking to Foxy Brown or somebody. Stand your ground there. Putting that can in afro and that lady. All right. Look at in the comments. Where is all the real Trump supporters? Today is different. I haven't had a lot of strong MAGA. You know, this is a MAGA-friendly program. You know, MAGA are always my preferred guest. It's been a little different today, though. I don't know why. Biden is cutting Navy. Biden is cutting, I guess you're saying cutting Navy, the ranks of the Navy, or cutting the Navy jobs. Cutting Navy during dangerous times, another terrible military decision. Weak Dems out. Jeremy, in regards to Biden potentially reducing the size of the Navy during dangerous times, as you call it, there's no such thing as a time where folks would favor reducing the ranks of the Navy. I mean, if it's not Israel, Palestinians, Russia, Ukraine, it'll be the threat of Iran, the threat of North Korea, the threat of China going into Taiwan. No matter when you do that, folks are going to say we're dealing with dangerous times. I mean, we've been in a Cold War with Russia since the Stalin era. Right before that, we were dealing with World War II. So probably 100 continuous years where folks would probably suggest this is not the time to shrink the size of the military. There's no time you're ever going to be to do that. That ain't something that's unique to right now. It would, any president came in there and tried to reduce the size of the Navy, people were going to say that. Even if there is zero military conflict, well, you're making it so we don't have as much military readiness by reducing it. I mean, they're going to complain about that no matter when. Trump dated a biracial woman for 2 years, which means what? Al, I hear this all the time. Trump can't be racist. He dated a black woman. You never seen a light-skinned slave? How the hell you think they got light skin? What does that mean? I'm not saying anything about President Trump, but where is the notion that who you date means anything? You got all these women out in the field yelling Massa, and they look just like Massa. What do you think that came from? That ain't got nothing to do with whether somebody is intolerant or not because they dated a black woman. But it's comical. It's comical. Look at it. I know dudes that dated a crack addict. That don't mean they want to smoke crack. Some happen to get their hands on a little bit of pussy right there. All right, going to Pat Carlson in the comment section. Dated a black woman. It's comical, though. Comical. Come on, handsome, you're better than that. What did I do wrong, SPL? Let me know. You know I'm not going to block, ban, or censor. The box is playing a little bit of games here. I have black friends. It does ring of that. It does ring of that a little to the left. You probably were that dude. Yeah, maybe I was, okay. Maybe I was. I've dated, let me just make it clear. In my history, I have probably went on a date or two, maybe had a little bit of intimacy with somebody that did not represent any of my views at all. At all. A young man wanted a little bit of loving and cashed in on it. That doesn't mean anything in regards to who you date or who you're with. You know how many women would say that their ex is a piece of shit and they don't want to ever be judged based on dating that guy? So the idea that he dated a black woman, okay, he dated a black woman. That's about all that goes. It has nothing else to do with how he feels about anyone. Apparently I'm starting to freeze up or something. We'll see what's happening. But would Trump marry a black woman? That is a good question. I don't know if he would or not, but that would signify a hell of a lot more than just dating somebody. What can the president really do? When can he be overridden by courts? And I think the president, just about any given time, can be overridden by Congress or the Senate or whatever the case may be. I mean, if the president takes executive action and the entire Congress rises up and wants to, promote a bill and go against them, and the Senate has a supermajority and they agree, yeah, they can go against anything the president does. The president can be stopped, and that's the way the founding fathers set it up. They didn't want the president to have all the power like that. Apparently I'm having some issues here because somebody's in the box, but I don't see him. Can you hear me? Yeah, we got some.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, but I don't. Okay.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, something's wrong. What I'm asking you.
Can you hear me?
Drop out of the box and I'll bring you back up. Something is wrong because I don't see you anything. Okay, we'll give him a drop out. Okay, now, and oddly enough, I don't know who I was just talking to because I didn't see anything. Real quick in the comments, like if I'm Biden and I write an executive order against prices, I'm still taking an L if it gets shot down. That's true. That is true because Trump gets shot down for not successfully building the wall. Fact is, Trump absolutely wanted to build a wall. There's no denying that if Trump had his way, we would have a big ass wall on the southern border. But folks shoot him down all the time because he didn't do it. Well, it's not because of him, it's because of opposition. Just like Obamacare. If Obama had his way, healthcare in America would be just like dialing 911. Everybody would have access to it. Everybody would have it. The only reason it exists in the state it is now is because of all the Republican resistance. So I do agree with you that if the president writes an executive order or tries to implement policies that he wants and he gets shot down, he's going to get blamed for it. But we know he wanted it. We know Trump wanted the wall. We know Obama wanted universal health care. Like Biden right now is getting blamed by many for not forgiving student loans. If Biden could forgive student loans without any Republican resistance, nobody would owe any money right now. He clearly wanted to do that. There's no denying. He clearly wants to forgive student loan debt. Just like with the George Floyd bill. He clearly wanted to do that. Resistance is what stopped. Now, in the comments, Evelyn says he's doing it. Yeah, he's doing it to a lesser degree, though. He's doing it where he can while avoiding all of the Republican resistance. But if there was no Republican resistance, probably would have 4 years of college covered by the government at this point. Just like I stated, universal health care would be for all, and the wall would be 20 foot tall on the border. They all get resistance. They do get, that's not something unique to any president. They will not forgive student loans. No, the Republicans are not going to forgive student loans. If you had a supermajority of Democrats in the Congress and Senate, student loans would be gone. There's no denying. Student loans would be gone. There are certain laws, certain policies that would absolutely exist if you had a supermajority of Democrats or Republicans. If you had a supermajority of Republicans, abortion would be banned federal nationwide. I do believe gun ownership in America will be far more difficult if you had a supermajority of Democrats. There are some areas where you can pretty much predict where things would go. And I do agree with that. Looking in the comments, and that is just another form of voting fraud because he is buying their vote. No, it's not. If you give a voting bloc something they want, it's not buying votes. That's listening to your constituents. You think that when you pass laws in favor of big oil, that's not buying votes? I mean, seriously, you're doing the same thing. I don't know why a liberal doing things that liberal voters want is buying votes, but corporate tax cuts to corporations that normally vote right, is that buying votes? If so, that's what they do. That's what being a politician is about. It's getting in office and catering to the people that helped you get there. That's how it works. I would submit to you doing the national anthem with the January 6th hostages is damn sure buying votes. You're giving a crowd what they want and expecting them to support you. That's what happens. Thank you for that, Teddy. Thank you for that. A little to the left, I think that was. Thank you. Going back to the box, which I'm having some problems with. We'll try it again real quick here. I don't know what's been going on, but we're having a bit of an issue. Let's try Country Hound Dog talking about Biden's economy and Trump's inner circle. But there we go. Country Hound Dog, good afternoon.
How's it going, Jim?
Hey, going good. Talking about Biden's economy, do you feel confident he can do 4 more years? You think the country will be better off with another 4 of Biden?
No.
I can't, your audio's going up and down. Okay, are you there?
Yeah, I'm here. Can you hear me?
Loud and clear now. 4 more years of Biden. What say you?
No.
Why not?
And I'm going to touch on what Miss Mo Betta said. Okay? I'm going to rewind a little bit. Let's rewind back to 2008.
Let me get my pen. Go ahead.
All right. Coming out of Bush era, going into Obama. Okay? We saw a severe dip in GDP. Okay? Right at the 2008 election, when Obama was coming in to take over, there was a lot of fear and a lot of fear-mongering that went on during that election.
Is that his fault?
No, it's not. It's not. But there was a lot of fear that strapped through the whole country, and a lot of it was wrongfully assumed. Okay? but that caused a massive dip in the GDP.
Where's the fear coming from? Where's the fear coming from?
That a lot of people did not think Obama was going to do a good enough job.
So that's clearly the folks on the right.
I think the bulk of the fear mongering came from the folks on the right, and that was wrong.
Okay.
Okay.
And they're destroying. Not only did the fear of Obama come from folks on the right, you're admitting that they were hurting the economy by doing so.
Well, it did hurt. The fear mongering did hurt the economy.
Okay.
We saw a massive dip in the GDP. Okay. And that's cold hard facts. You can look it up. And then coming right after the election, as things got going, you and me both know Obama started the decline on the border. Okay. And as he started.
What do you mean by decline?
He declined the number of border crossings.
So he was doing so he was securing the southern border.
He was, and it was a long road. And as we came out of the Obama era, okay, it was down low, and then Trump finished it off down to zero.
So before you get into Trump, let me make sure I get clarity. Based on what you're saying, he was securing the border, and the fear mongering was not his fault. So you are suggesting that better yet, Obama was a good president.
He was a decent president.
Why only decent? He's securing the border.
There's a few things that I disagreed with him on, and one of the things that still I would love to know what else was said was when he got caught on that hot mic with Putin, when the mic wasn't supposed to be turned on. That put a lot of fear back in the U.S. economy, and we saw a small dip.
Yeah, but you do know when Trump met with Vladimir Putin, they also met in private, and Trump took the notes away from the interpreter. So nobody knows what they ever talked about either.
Right. And like I said, where Obama got caught on the hot mic, that's what it got out. What Trump did not get out as easily, and it did not affect the economy. But backing up to Obama, his economy, after the drop in GDP, his economy did continue to increase from the Bush era. It continued to increase.
I'm not hearing, just based on what you're saying. Yeah, based on what you're saying, I'm not hearing where Obama did anything bad. It just sounds like fear-mongering from the right hurt his presidency, according to you.
So, well, that's what caused the drop in the GDP.
Yeah. So nothing that he did at all. He didn't do nothing wrong.
But he did bounce back, and his economy was going good.
Yeah.
Like I said, he was securing the border. And then going into Trump, we did not see no drop in GDP. But this is continuing up to pre-pandemic numbers. Okay? If you look at Trump's pre-pandemic numbers, okay, and this is where we're going to touch on what Miss Mobetta said. Okay, I got respect for her. I like what she had to say. Though I didn't agree with all of it. But if you look at Trump's pre-pandemic numbers, and even ABC News put it out, and they show Trump's pre-pandemic numbers, Biden's economy, even at its best right now, is nowhere near Trump's pre-pandemic numbers. Everybody wants to measure how good Biden is doing post-pandemic.
Well, wait a minute. You're going to say everybody wants to measure how, wait, hold on. You said everybody want to measure how Biden is doing post-pandemic, but you're measuring how Trump did pre-pandemic.
Well, no, what I'm doing is comparing the two.
Okay.
And this is what I was saying. This is the second dip in our GDP. Okay? The only two times we've had a major dip in our GDP in the last 20 to 30 years was 2008 during that election, and then in 2020, pandemic. Okay? Now, people want to say, oh, look how good Biden's doing, look at all the jobs he's created and stuff. But even with all the jobs that have been created and what have you by Biden, his numbers are still not as good as Trump's worst numbers pre-pandemic. So if Trump and Biden got on stage and solely went off of numbers and policies only, he would smash Biden just solely off of policy.
But based on, but let's take into consideration what you just stated. You made it clear that when Trump took office, he inherited a really good economy from Obama. But when Biden
he inherited an economy that was on the rise. And then
what's the difference? What's the difference between a good economy and one that's on the rise?
A good economy levels off and stays at a consistent increase. One that's on a rise will see ups and downs, which is what we've seen in the past 4 years.
So was it, in your opinion, was the economy good when Trump became president in 2017? When he was sworn in January 2017, did we have a good economy in this country?
It was doing good, and we were definitely on the rise. It was doing good. And also, one of the biggest things that people don't talk about when Trump was in and versus when Biden is in right now, do you have any credit cards?
Yeah.
Okay. What has happened to your interest rate on those cards?
I don't use them much, so, I get the little changing notes in the mail. I don't even read it because I don't use them that much.
Go back to 4 years ago, or go back to 5 years ago, and look at what your interest rate was on a credit card, and look what it is now. Okay?
Yeah,
the
but
interest rate under Trump was 6.5% lower than what it is right now, which is why, and that was coming off of Obama's economy, staying on the increase, and Trump rode those numbers on up.
Here's where I think I have the issue.
Hold on, I got an alert coming through.
Shit, you scared the hell out of me with that. I thought this man was going through a major crisis over there. That shit
we have a tornado watch that just came through where I live at.
All right. You need to drop, you okay?
No, I'm not driving. I'm
I said, do you need to drop out? Are you okay?
No, I'm good.
Okay.
I'm good.
You scared the hell out of me with that. So you
Ms. Mobet has said it. She wants to see him get on stage and go solely off policy.
Let me interrupt you. Because some comments are humorous, and this one isn't favorable to you, but I thought it's humorous nevertheless. August in the comments said that that was a racist MAGA alarm going off on your phone. Oh my God.
Come on. I tell you what, Tim, I'll say it like this. You as president, then Biden. I would vote for. You know why?
Okay.
Because you listen to the other side. I would vote for you for president before I would Biden.
Well, hey, let me wipe my, because that joke against you was pretty damn funny. But let me ask you, because it seems like you're hesitant of doing. I gotta stop thinking about that shit. What it seems like you're doing though is you're hesitating to give Biden credit. Obama credit, but you're giving Trump credit. I think by your own description,
I have given Obama credit for things he's done good. And like I said, one of the best things he did for this country was he started slowing the border crossings. He started that.
But here's the issue, Country Hondo. I don't recall hearing about how, because I watched a lot of Fox News during that era as well, when Glenn Beck and Bill O'Reilly and all them were. I was watching a lot of Fox during the Obama administration. I don't recall them ever giving Obama credit for securing the border. They were ridiculing him for whatever he was doing. I don't recall it. Now that Biden is doing the opposite, allegedly, they're all over Biden. But based on what you're saying, and even a lot of folks that identify as MAGA are saying, is that Obama was doing a great job at the border. They were saying he was for open borders back then.
Give me just a second there, okay?
Yeah.
Give me just 1 second.
No more racist alarms, all right? Okay. His tan suits. Yeah, I don't recall them ever giving Obama credit for securing the border until Trump started getting in trouble for doing it. Then, he was separating families too. That wasn't what you were saying when he was in office. You were saying he was for open borders. Now all of a sudden, because Trump is getting in trouble, you want to, that didn't make sense to me. I got to move it on, Country Hound Dog. I guess you got something going on over there. Looking in the comments, 1 million a year to 4 million a year is a huge difference. What are you referring to, my three kids? Are you talking about the number of people coming in the country, or what is the reference to that? His hero Trump likes to rewrite history also. Now he doesn't want to replace. Sometimes a politician promises something that's not popular, and then they have to backtrack. And I think Trump, certainly with abortion, it's killing him. It's killing him. I think what's happening with women on these really strict abortion bans is starting to compete with how folks feel about the economy. And I get a lot, we've seen the program today. A lot of folks, particularly on the left, do not think the economy is that bad. But there are a lot of Democrats that don't like Biden's economy either. They're blaming Biden for the economy. But the abortion bans are so damn strict that it is competing with anything Biden has done that folks don't like I mentioned, the border or the economy, things that are negative to the Biden administration. Those abortion bans are really bad. Like they're super strict. So that's starting to compete with that. And Arizona, for instance, where it's already got a blue governor, is not likely to go red at this point now because their law is so damn strict. So I don't know, that did not help. So I can see why Trump and many on the right are trying to disassociate themselves from those abortion bans. But here's a problem with President Trump, because he is known as somebody who likes to bloviate, likes to brag, likes to be bombastic. There is so much footage of Trump bragging about rolling back Roe v. Wade. There's no way in hell he's going to be able to disassociate himself from it. I mean, he is all over everywhere, rallies, meetings, talking to the media, all over the place, taking credit for that shit. There's probably nothing he can say going forward that's going to convince people that you're not responsible for this. You just play his own clips back at him. There's a lot of clips of him doing it. So sometimes, as some folks will say in the hood, bad boys need to move in silence. You don't need to brag about every damn thing, because he's going to be wishing those old clips are not out there, but it's too late. Looking in the comments, roll the footage, says Cammy. That's what we're talking about. So certainly in Arizona, when they're running, I think Carrie Lake running for Senate in Arizona, she had ran for governor and lost, said the election was stolen, of course, but they have a Democratic governor in Arizona. Well, she's running for a Republican Senate. Now, she's already at odds with the McCain family and all of the McCain supporters in Arizona to begin with. But now they're on the side of this, because Carrie Lake also called that 1864 bill before it became law. She's on video suggesting we already have a great law from the 1800s so we can implement. So now that it's become law and nobody likes that shit, just like Trump, there's videos of Carrie Lake promoting it. So I think that Carrie Lake's chances of becoming a Republican senator in Arizona just got significantly less as well. So in regards to winning swing states, Arizona may not go red. Arizona may not go red because of that. That's really bad in Arizona for the Republicans. Looking in the comments, Trump abortion ban and healthcare ban is on the ballot. And that also is incredibly flammable, inflammatory, you name the term, for Republicans, in my humble opinion. We've seen already, no matter where it's at, no matter what the state, no matter what the politics, when folks can actually vote whether they want abortion legal or not, they vote in favor of it. So if abortion is on the ballot come November in any state at all, you're going to have a lot of left-leaning people show up. A lot of left-leaning people show up that may have not shown. These women that are showing up, this could be the year of the woman. This could be the year of the woman. If they start showing up and voting in favor of that, voting against that shit, it could be a mess. It could be a really disappointing election season for a lot of folks. But Kansas, Ohio, these red states When abortion was put on the ballot, they're like, "Oh hell no, we're not a fan of that." I don't think Arizona would continue to vote in favor of a law from the 1800s. Now, we're hearing a statement. It's not about taking away women's rights. It's actually about giving the power to the states. Fair enough, but in my humble opinion, if the people in that state did not actually vote on it themselves, then you ain't giving the power to the states. You're giving the power to the state politicians. You just took it out of the hands of one politician and put it in the hands of another. Until the actual residents, voters, and constituents of that area vote on the bill, it ain't in the power. You're not giving the power to the states. You're giving the power to the people who rule that state. The citizens don't want that stuff. The citizens of Arizona are not likely to want what happened. They don't want that bill. They don't want that law from 1864. Now, it's going to probably be up to the powers that be in Arizona to try to prevent them from having the right to vote on it. Because if they vote on it, it's not going to go good. Looking in the comments real quick, why will they ban contraceptives? Rolling back Roe v. Wade has really opened the Pandora's box. We heard about in vitro fertilization down in Alabama. It's really opened up a box of I won't say a box of worms, a box of snakes. Rican, what did I just click on? Rican, Texas. We are sick of Republican women will unite, says Lola Beloved. There's a lot of Republican women out there that favor those abortion bans, though. We get them on the program all the time. Lily, look up Dr. Roberts Epstein, and he tells us how they created Trust Me. I don't quite get that one. That's on YouTube. I watched the entire case, brother. Go scope out Robert. You guys on YouTube are talking to yourselves? Okay, all right. Apparently, I'm having some trouble with the bots on TikTok. Real quick, well, I guess when our country goes to shit, at least you can say you got an abortion, says Christina Kerr. Well, if you start banning abortion and executing women that have one, like the congressperson in North Carolina proposed, perhaps that's what many would suggest is the country going to shit. When you start threatening to lock up a rape victim, incarcerate her because she don't want to carry the rapist child, you don't see that as the country going to shit? You would focus more on gas being $3 a gallon, but the poor woman sitting in prison because she didn't want to carry a rapist baby, that's not going to shit at all. It's this $3 you pay for 93 unleaded. I don't understand it. I think the country might go to shit no matter who you elect. Just leaving abortion out of politics. That is impossible. Impossible to do that in this day and age. Reaching Bro says, JC, hella pennies. Explain how. Elaborate. By the way, folks, I do appreciate the 110. I didn't ask you guys to continue smashing the screen or tapping the screen, but I do appreciate the fact that you have been doing that. Certainly on YouTube, tapping or smashing that like button. And certainly liking the program on TikTok always helps on the YouTube, but I'm having it on this side as well. Anyhow, do appreciate you folks. Monday through Friday, 1 p.m. Central is when we are here. We don't block, ban, or censor anyone. Follow the program if you enjoy civilized dialogue from both sides of the aisle, without any concern of the host trying to block, ban, or censor you. Until then, I'll see you tomorrow. Same on YouTube. I don't know why the program froze up towards the end, but I do appreciate you folks here as always. I will see you tomorrow.